When she called me an old stick in the mud and climbed into the back seat with her lover, she had no idea I was recording everything and that the footage would mark the beginning of her downfall. My name's Mike Carpenter. I'm 48, built like the pickup I've been nursing since high school, scratched paint, reliable engine, and enough dents to prove I've lived. I run Carpenter's Garage on the north side of Wichita, Kansas, and as my late granddad liked to say, I'm no saint, but I play fair. My wife, Vanessa, is a head-turner. She carries herself so well the cashier at Walmart gives her the jealous once-over and the high school quarterback pumping gas forgets to stop the meter. We've been married almost 12 years. The kids are grown. Our son, Dylan, is a sophomore at Kansas State. Our daughter, Lacey, just got married and moved to Topeka. Life ought to be smooth cruising. Then, one Tuesday in early April, something creaked in my chest, like a dry hinge no one has oiled in years. Before I go on, smash that like button and drop where you're watching from. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the story. At first, I thought it was my heart acting up. Turned out it was intuition screeching like the brakes on a '79 Chevelle when the pads are down to metal. It started small. Vanessa suddenly began stopping by my shop all the time. The wipers quit. The gas pedal feels stiff. Do you think the AC is blowing cold enough? I joked. Usually it's husbands who complain their wives ride the gas too hard. But inside I was uneasy. Vanessa used to avoid the shop, said the smell of grease clung to her hair for days, but now she was there every other week, hair down, makeup on point, that coy little half-smile she saves for getting her way. The mechanic who always worked on her Nissan Rogue was Tyler Boone, 15 years younger than me, arms like baseball bats, with that smug look guys get when they think biceps beat brains. I'd hired him myself 2 years ago out of tech school. Good with his hands, sure, but every time he spoke, it was obvious which of us did the thinking. One Friday afternoon I dropped by unannounced to check inventory invoices. There was Vanessa in tight jeans, iced coffee in hand, Tyler leaning against the fender of her car, grinning like a cat at a fishbowl. I stayed cool, asked how the repairs were going, flipped through a clipboard. Vanessa kissed me on the cheek, light, polite, not the real thing, and said she had to run to yoga. Tyler watched her walk away the way a stray dog watches a steak fall off a grill. I felt the storm clouds gather behind my eyes. That night she said she'd been at the salon. Game on. I did something I'd always thought beneath me, called my older brother Jack. Jack's 5 years ahead of me, twice divorced, child-free, and, as he likes to brag, married to the lens. He shoots weddings, senior portraits, corporate headshots, whatever pays, but his real love is the thrill of the hunt. Give him a rumor, he'll give you proof. Hidden mics, drones, GPS trackers, Jack treats Radio Shack like a candy store. Looks like Vanessa's seeing someone, I said, pacing the backyard. Pretty sure it's one of my own guys. Jack didn't ask if I was sure, didn't preach forgiveness. He just said, you bring popcorn, I'll bring cameras. He rolled up Saturday morning looking like a retired James Bond. Black leather jacket, polarized shades, and a cardboard box labeled for home and garden that rattled like a bag of wrenches. Microcam disguised as a bolt, he said, clicking one open. Shoots 4K video and high-gain audio. Spielberg would be jealous. Another looked like a tiny deodorant stick magnet. This one's a GPS beacon, updates every 10 seconds. And this, he held up something that resembled a Hot Wheels car, is a drone that can hover inside a garage with the door halfway closed. Is that even legal? I asked. Only if you get caught, he said, and winked. Install took 20 minutes. One cam in the battery compartment, one disguised as the mirror logo, a third in the rear headrest, just in case they decided to test the suspension. Everything piped to the cloud. I watched from an app called ShadowStream that Jack sideloaded onto my phone. Black and white thumbnail icons glowed on the screen, waiting to go live. When does she usually drop by? Jack asked, wiping grease off his hands with a shop rag. Like clockwork, every other Thursday. But my gut says the schedule's about to change. 2 days later, Monday, no less, my phone buzzed. Motion detected. I was aligning a Ford's wheels, nearly dropped the torque wrench on my boot. I ducked into the office, locked the door, tapped the alert. Vanessa strolled into frame, ponytail swinging, sunglasses pushed up like she was some Hollywood starlet slumming it in Wichita. Tyler met her, wiped his hands on a rag, and said something I couldn't catch. She laughed, Lean closer. The mic crackled. You're better than all those old stick-in-the-muds, Ty. With you I forget I'm married. My blood went glacier cold. Old stick-in-the-mud? Sweetheart, the only mud here is what you're about to be dragged through. They disappeared behind the rogue's tinted glass. The headrest Kim picked them up, her hand on his thigh, his fingers tracing the inside seam of her jeans. I killed the feed. Enough. That evening, after closing time, I called Jack. Confirmed, I said. Video, audio, the works. In my shop? On my time. Then it's curtain time, he said. What genre you want for the finale? Drama, comedy, thriller? Black comedy, I decided. With a masterclass called How Not to Cheat on the Guy Who Owns the Shop. Jack spent 3 nights editing. He set the clips to Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield, added slow-motion zooms, freeze frames with neon arrows, sarcastic subtitles like Exhibit A, unauthorized test drive, and Exhibit B, spark plugs misfiring. He ended with credits. Nominee, Best Hidden Service Under the Hood, starring Vanessa DeWitt, Tyler Boone, and the Oblivious Husband sponsor. Shot on location at Carpenter's Garage. Thanks for cheating. Now we've got content. Meanwhile, I handled the human resources side. I called Tyler into my office Wednesday morning. Ty, how's the rogue running? Smooth, he said, flashing that gym rat grin. Glad to hear it, because you're fired. The grin faltered. Wait, what? Effective immediately, I said, sliding a pink slip across the desk. Reason, conflict of interest and personal misconduct on company property. He turned crimson. You can't. I can. I just did. And if you want to argue, I'll email HR the video. His mouth opened, closed. He left without another word. I expected relief, but all I felt was an empty ache, like pulling a rotten tooth. You know it had to go, but the hole throbs anyway. That night Jack showed up with the carry-on suitcase. Phase 2, he said. Inside, a replacement head unit for Vanessa's stereo, preloaded with my message, a stack of windshield signs, and because Jack never misses a chance for flair, a pair of magnetic bumper stickers that read honk if you love cheaters. We worked in the driveway under the yellow porch light. I recorded the voiceover in a single take, keeping my tone calm, almost gentle. Jack layered in soft piano, Bill Evans, peace, peace, because, he said, nothing unsettles a guilty conscience like kindness. We swapped the stereos, stuck the sign inside her windshield with double-sided tape, and slipped the bumper magnets into the trunk for later. All that remained was to wait. Thursday afternoon, Vanessa texted she was running to Dylan's for groceries. Perfect. I parked my truck 3 rows over, Jack riding shotgun with a DSLR the size of a loaf of bread. Vanessa came out of the store, bags dangling from manicured fingers, heels clicking on the asphalt. She tossed the bags in the back, climbed in, turned the key. Hey, Vanessa, my voice said through the speakers. While you're listening to this, know that I know everything. She froze, hands on the wheel. Killed the engine. Started it again. Same message. She jabbed at the buttons like they'd burned her. Then she noticed the sign, stepped out, yanked it off, read the warning. Her face drained of color. A pickup idling nearby honked. The driver laughed. Someone across the aisle raised a phone, started filming. Viral bait, gift wrapped. Vanessa crumpled the sign, threw it on the pavement, and looked around like a cornered animal. Jack's shutter clicked, 10 frames per second, capturing the precise moment her castle of secrets collapsed. We drove off before she spotted us. In the mirror I saw her sink against the driver's door, tears streaking mascara down her cheeks. Think that's enough? Jack asked. I gripped the wheel. It's a start. 9 that evening, the doorbell rang. I let it buzz a full minute before opening. Vanessa stood there, mascara smudged, hair a mess, grocery bags abandoned somewhere. You here to explain or collect your things? I asked, stepping aside. She shuffled to the kitchen like a child sent to the principal's office. I set 2 mugs of tea on the table, hers without sugar. 3 questions, I said, sitting opposite. 1. How long? 6 months, she said, eyes on the mug. Maybe 7. 2. Is he the love of your life, or just a toy with a 17mm wrench? Her lip trembled. I don't know. 3. Did you ever think I'd find out? She shook her head. That's the honesty right there, I said. You didn't fear breaking our home. You only feared getting caught. She tried the usual. You worked too much. We drifted. I felt invisible, but the words sounded rehearsed, like lines from a daytime talk show. I let her finish, then pushed a flash drive across the table. "Everything's on here," I said. "For my lawyer, if it comes to that. You have a week to move out. Keys with the neighbor. I'll change the locks after." She started to cry, silent, shoulders shaking. I opened the front door. "Good night, Vanessa." She left, hunched, the porch light casting her shadow long and crooked across the lawn. I closed the door and leaned against it, exhaling weeks of tension. For the first time in months, the house felt honest. Empty, yes, but honest. The next morning I slept until 6, fried eggs and bacon grease, drank black coffee, and drove to the shop with the windows down, letting the spring air blow out the stale memory of perfume. The guys greeted me with cautious nods. I gathered them in the break room. "Tyler's gone," I said. "Personal misconduct. We're short-handed, but we'll manage. Any questions?" Silence. Then Luis, my senior tech, raised a hand. "Boss, you okay?" I considered the question. "I will be." Work was therapy. Brake jobs, oil changes, a full engine swap on a 12 F150. It all kept my hands busy and my mind from replaying old scenes. At lunch I called Dylan at college, told him the bare bones. He cursed, offered to drive home. I told him to stay, Ace's finals, that I had it handled. Lacey texted hearts and "Love you, Dad." I saved the screenshot. Tyler tried to call twice. I blocked him. He showed up once after hours, found the gate locked, left a note on the door. "Sorry, dude. It just happened." I shredded it without reading further. Vanessa sent long emails, apologies, memories, please. I forwarded them to a folder named Archive and never opened it. 2 weeks slid by. The apartment felt bigger, cleaner. I replaced the king-size bed with a queen, sold the fancy espresso machine she'd insisted on, donated her boxes of gluten-free snacks to the food bank. The silence became music. Friday night, Jack dropped by with a 6-pack of Boulevard wheat and a Bluetooth speaker. We sat in the garage, the door cracked to let in the smell of lilacs and gasoline. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms, floating in the air. Jack raised a bottle. "To surviving." I clinked. "To learning." He studied me. "Any regrets?" "Only that I didn't trust my gut sooner," I said. "But the revenge?" "No. It wasn't for her. It was for me. I needed to prove I'm not a doormat." Jack nodded. "You sure you're done?" "No round 2. Done," I said. This was never about destroying her. It was about reclaiming me. The following Wednesday, I visited a Chevy dealership, thinking about trading my old Silverado for something that didn't smell like Tyler's cologne every time I flashed back. A sales manager approached, mid-30s, copper-red hair, handshake firm. "What brings you in today?" she asked, name tag reading Riley Morgan. "Looking for a ride that's reliable, no surprises, clean service record." She grinned. "Coming off a rough repair?" "You could say that." She showed me a metallic blue Colorado ZR2, talked suspension travel and towing capacity with real knowledge, not memorized bullet points. I found myself laughing, actually laughing, when she joked about people who buy trucks but never haul more than a kayak. After the test drive, she said, "You look like you could use a decent cup of coffee that doesn't come from a dealership Keurig. There's a place across the street." I almost declined. Old reflex. But then I remembered the promise I'd made to myself. Drive where the road is smooth. We sat at Bean there, cups steaming, sun slanting through the windows. We talked baseball. She's a Royals fan. Music. She plays piano at her church. And road trips. Her dream is to see every national park by 40. I told her about Dylan and Lacey, about rebuilding carburetors with my granddad, about how Kansas sunsets look painted by someone showing off. When I glanced at my watch, 2 hours had vanished. Riley smiled. "Well, Mike Carpenter, I can't promise lifetime maintenance, but I can promise honesty. That's my brand." "Honesty sounds like premium fuel these days," I said. We exchanged numbers. No expectations, no timelines. Just a possibility. Driving home in my old truck, windows down, I caught my reflection in the side mirror. Same lines on the forehead, same gray at the temples, but the eyes looked lighter, like someone opened a window in a stuffy room. Life, I realized, is like a vehicle. You do the maintenance, you keep it clean, but sometimes a part cracks where you can't see. You can patch it, weld it, pray it holds. Or you can accept the failure, replace the part, maybe trade up altogether. The trick is not dragging the scrap metal behind you like a trophy of suffering. Will I fall in love again? Maybe. Will I ever be betrayed again? Could be. But I'm not scared. I've learned to read the warning lights, to listen when intuition squeals like worn brakes. And if the road ahead has gopher holes, I'll steer around them, not plow through hoping for the best. If anyone asks, Mike, aren't you afraid you'll hit the same pothole again? I'll say, no. Next time I'll drive where the road is smooth. Because now I'm not just the driver. I'm the mechanic of my own destiny. A month after the dust settled, I was under the lift replacing the exhaust on a '98 Tacoma when Luis poked his head in. Boss, he said, the guys pitched and figured you deserved something. He handed me a plaque cut from sheet metal, polished, etched with our shop logo, and 5 simple words. Still runs. Still righteous. I laughed so hard I almost dropped the muffler. We bolted the plaque to the break room wall, right above the coffee pot Tyler used to hawk. Every time I pour a cup, the steel letters remind me. Engines, like people, can seize, but with enough grit and the right tools, they can roar back to life. That's the end of our story. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot to us.